Okay, so now I finished discuss the exponential rules extensively, right? So you have an overview of all of the rules necessary for you to solve exponential expressions questions. Okay, there's another thing that I have to add in this whole list, which will be the prime and composite numbers, right? I mean that will be in the next part where we'll start linking everything together and actually applying all of those exponential rules. Just there's just one more thing that you need to remember there. And then next year, I will elaborate on some of the other ideas when we talk more in detail about radical signs. Right, so that'll be more. That'll basically that's the grade 10 and part of the grade 10 and 11 syllabus. So we're not going to talk about that now, right? So what we're going to discuss now in this video is basically if you're given decimals and you're given square roots and cube roots, how do you solve a question like that, right? So let's just go there quickly. Okay, so let's look at 0.25, the square root of 0.25. How would we simplify this? So I didn't give you any rules specifically for decimals. So what rules did I give you though? I did give you rules for the products of and the quotient. Remember I gave you the quotient rule under the radicals. So we can re-express 0.25 as 1 over 4. And now I can apply the root to each, the numerator and the denominator. So that simplifies to a half. Do you understand that? Again, here too. The square root of 0.75, if I put it in the radical sign, is 3 over 4. So therefore this will be root 3 over root of 4, which will be the square root of 3 over 2. Yeah, the cube root of 125. This is why you need to understand your squares and your cubes. What are some of the square numbers we get? We get 1, 4, 9, 25, 36, 64, and so on. Right, your cube numbers 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, right, and so on. So this is where you need to have these numbers so you can see a pattern. If you have to convert 0.125 to a fraction, it will be cube root of 125 over 100, and I put a 3 there. So therefore now it will be the cube root of 125 over the cube root of 1000. Right, and the cube root of 125 is 5. The product of what 5 same numbers will give you 125 is what? Is 5. And the product of what 3 same numbers will give you 1000? 10. So 5 over 10. This simplifies to half. In fact, here, I just looked at 0.75 as 3/4. Now, let's say you didn't know that. See, let me just elaborate on this. Right, I looked at 0.75 as 3/4 because I knew that. Right, so let's say that you knew 75 over 100. Why? Because every time you multiply by, if you multiply by 100, you move the comma 2 spaces. It'll be 1, 2. So that gives you 75. And then you have to divide by 100 in order to retain the equality. Right? Now here, what did we talk about under what do we call this? Under fractions. We discussed equivalent fractions. So how can I equivalently express 75 over 100? If I put this in my calculator, it should give you 3 over 4. Because 3 times 25 over 4 times 25 is 75 over 100. Okay? But since there's a common factor in the numerator and denominator, I can cancel. Right? And then it leaves me with 3 over 4. So that will take the square root, and that's how we come to this step. Right? Different perspectives. I'm just teaching you across the board, right? Across the board. If you didn't understand this, how do you apply yourself differently? The same with 25 over 100. See, 25 over 100, I could have said, took the square root like this. So the square root of 25 is 5. Right, so I could have the square root of 25 over 100. And now I could say the square root of 25 over the square root of 100, which will give you 5 over 10, which is half. Same answer. Two different ways, same answer. Right, that's what we call lateral thinking. Thinking from different perspectives, but it will get you to the same answer. That's the beauty of maths. Right, very straightforward section, very straightforward idea. And yeah, so that basically concludes decimals. So if you're given a decimal, convert it to a fraction, because we have rules dedicated for that, for fractions. But for decimals, we don't have rules. Now remember, if you're using a calculator here, it's straightforward, just punch it in your calculator. But these questions, more often than not, will be questions that specifically state that you are not allowed to use a calculator. So you need to show your working out. You have to show your working out. You can't come from here to there, to the answer, without showing any working out. Right? So that's how they catch you out. So they want to see you doing these steps, converting it to a fraction and so on. Okay, so that's basically for decimals and roots.